That's how all this started. Not the affair, but me catching it. I noticed the difference one night when she came home from the gym, kissed me on the cheek, and walked past in that too-tight tank top she never wore when we were together. She smelled different. Sweet, almost sugary, but not floral like her usual perfume. The scent stuck to my shirt when she leaned in close. It didn't belong to me. Or her. Little thoughts. They creep in like ants under a baseboard. I told myself it was nothing, that maybe she picked up a new shampoo. But by the third time, I started to remember the smell. It wasn't just new. It was familiar in a foreign way. Like cologne. 2 weeks later, I was bumper to bumper on 6th Avenue. You know how your brain goes on autopilot during a red light? Mine shut off until I saw her. Kaylee, my wife of 7 years. Arm in arm with a giant of a man outside a juice bar. Laughing. Close. He had his hand on her lower back. Then, he smacked her ass. And she laughed. My foot slipped off the brake. I nearly rear-ended the car in front of me. I don't remember breathing for the next few blocks. I couldn't even process what I'd seen. Maybe it wasn't her. Maybe I was seeing things. Maybe I was jealous. But the smell. That same scent was on her again that night. She was practically glowing. Humming while she made dinner. Called me babe twice. We even had one of those nights where things almost felt like before. Except I used protection. I told her I didn't want to take any chances, that it was just safer. She giggled like I was being coy. She had no clue I was watching her now. Really watching. I told her I wanted to get healthy. Truth was, I wanted to see him. You're coming with me? She said. Her smile faltered for the briefest second. Well, sure, babe. It'll be fun. At the front desk, they introduced me to Braden. I had to look up at him. Twice my size. Arms like tree trunks. Teeth perfect. That tan that says, I vacation, you work, and that smell. The one that had come home on Kaylee. He put out a hand. I shook it. My knuckles cracked in his grip. Heard a lot about you, he said. His eyes didn't smile. They measured. That whole session, I worked machines while watching from the corner of my eye. Braden walked behind her as she did squats. Hands correcting her form. Whispering in her ear. She giggled too much. Her workout pants were see-through under the gym lights. I could practically feel his breath on her neck. I went home and threw up. We had a prenup. If she cheated, she got nothing. That thought lit a fire in me. Kaylee had long since forgotten that she once used my laptop to check Facebook. She thought she'd logged out. She hadn't. Chrome remembered. One click. That's all it took. Her inbox was a goldmine of betrayal. She called me paracetamol. Said I was thin and pale, like some sick joke. Said Braden made her feel alive. That my hugs felt like arms of obligation, while his were hands of want. Then came the photos. First in sports bras. Then without. She sent videos. Used my house as a prop. My bed. I downloaded everything. Organized it by date. Put it all on a thumb drive labeled Kaylee Spin Class. I didn't scream. Didn't confront her. Didn't throw things. I smiled. I cooked dinner. I kissed her goodnight. I wore condoms. And every time she went to yoga, I added another date to the file. I was going to bury her in court. One morning, Kaylee came into the kitchen sipping almond milk out of a mason jar. She had that fake innocent smile she always used when asking for something she already planned to do. I was thinking, she said, of going on a little weekend trip. Girls only thing. Steph and I, maybe 2 nights. Just spa and wine. Nothing wild. I didn't even blink. Sure, babe. That sounds nice. She left Friday morning. By noon, I had moved out, packed half the house into a storage unit, and checked into a hotel downtown. My lawyer had already filed. Her parents were notified. Mine too. And just for fun, I sent everything. Every text, every photo, every video, to Braden's girlfriend. Apparently, she wasn't in the loop. By Saturday night, Kaylee came home early to an empty house and a boyfriend in chaos. I turned off my phone. 67 messages. When I finally turned my phone on again, it nearly exploded with the force of her desperation. Voicemails, texts, emails. Some angry, some apologetic, some confused. Where are you? I didn't mean anything by it. We just kissed. I swear. It meant nothing. Please. Please call me. Then came the messages from her mom, her dad, even her boss. But I only responded to one number, my lawyer's. He called her personally, told her to prepare for court. No discussions. No mediation. No assets. Court came and went. I won. She cried in front of the judge, claimed I was emotionally distant, that she was vulnerable. My lawyer opened the thumb drive and passed it to the bailiff. Case closed. She got nothing, not even the car. My parents asked me to meet with her. Said maybe she deserved closure. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Kaylee was different, quieter. She looked older. She apologized. Said she'd made a huge mistake. I lost myself, she said. I want to be friends again. Just friends. Nothing more. I said okay. I told her I'd think about it. We met a few more times. Grabbed coffee. Talked about meaningless things. She suggested couples therapy just for closure. I agreed. But I kept my guard up. A month later, I found her old notebook at my place. I don't know why she brought it. It had scribbles, plans, timelines. Phase 1, get him to open up. Phase 2, rebuild trust. Phase 3, reclaim finances. She wasn't sorry. Not really. She wanted back in. Not for love. For money. For comfort. I read a line near the end that made my blood run cold. Asterisk, he still has feelings. Play that. Pretend to forgive him too. Mention kids. That always works. Asterisk. That was the end. I never spoke to her again. I sent a final email. You fooled me once. Never again. The hardest part wasn't the cheating. It was realizing how long she wore the mask. Every smile. Every laugh. Every fake tear in court. All part of a game I didn't know I was in. It started small. A message from my mother. She wants to talk. I think you should hear her out. I ignored it. Then came a message from her father. Then her brother. Then friends who hadn't said a word to me during the divorce. She's not doing well. She says she's sorry. She's different now. My gut said to keep the door locked. But something about the quiet way she approached it, not with demands or crying voicemails, but with calm, got to me. I agreed to meet. Not because I missed her. I was just curious. We met at a neutral spot. A park bench under the shade of old trees. A place we used to go before things turned dark. She looked thinner. Tired. Worn out. Thank you for coming, she said. I nodded but didn't speak. She took a long breath. I don't expect anything from you. I just wanted to apologize. For everything. She seemed sincere. No tears. No performance. Just quiet. I was cruel, she said. You didn't deserve what I did. I let her talk. Didn't interrupt. Let her fill the space with whatever she needed to say. Then came the moment that still lingers in my head. Can we try again? Not as lovers. Just friends. I didn't answer right away. My heart was cold, but my mind was curious. Why would someone who threw everything away want to be friends with the one person who watched it burn? That should have been my clue. We started meeting once a week. Always in public. Always brief. Coffee, lunch, sometimes just a walk. She didn't push. Never brought up the past. She talked about therapy, about how she was facing her issues. I wanted to believe it. That was my mistake. Because manipulators adapt. They evolve. And she had learned a new trick. Humility. One night, after a long dinner, she laughed at something I said. A real laugh. Not that fake one she used when she was bored. I smiled. And in that moment, I saw her not as the woman who wrecked me, but as someone who might be trying. We started texting again. Light stuff. Music. Movies. Memes. Dumb things. It was harmless. Until she asked to come over. Just to talk. I won't stay long. I should have said no. But I didn't. She showed up in a hoodie and jeans. No makeup. Hair tied up. She looked almost normal. Like the woman I fell in love with before the gym, before Braden, before everything. We sat on the couch, awkward at first. Then it settled. We watched a movie. She kept her distance. Until the credits rolled. She looked at me, her eyes soft. Can I tell you something I never told anyone? That question should come with a warning label. She told me about her childhood. Her mother's control. Her father's silence. The constant need to be perfect. To be desired. She told me how that twisted her. How she lost herself in mirrors, validation, attention. Braden was a mirror, she said. He wasn't a man. He was proof I was still wanted. She cried. Not dramatically. Quiet tears. The kind that feel real. I hate what I did to you, she said. She reached for my hand. I didn't pull away. I didn't hold it either. I didn't know it at the time, but that was the moment she knew she still had a thread. 2 weeks later, we were meeting regularly. Still no intimacy. No hints. Just slow rebuilding. Then she brought up therapy. Not to fix anything, she said. Just to talk. Together. About how we got here. I agreed. It felt like closure. Like healing. Our first session, she was open. Honest. Raw. I used to lie. Every day. I manipulated him. I cheated. I tried to gaslight him. I was a monster. The therapist looked at me. How do you feel hearing that? Like I finally got an apology. I said. We did 5 sessions. Each one, she peeled back more. Each one, I let my guard down. Each one, she took notes. Mental ones. about my weaknesses, my regrets, my dreams. She wasn't rebuilding trust. She was rebuilding control. One evening, she came over, brought food, laughed, talked about our journey. Then she dropped the hammer. I want to move back in. I laughed. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. Not as your wife. Just as a roommate. Temporarily. My lease is up. And I thought maybe. I didn't say no. I didn't say yes. I went to bed. The next day, she was outside my building. With boxes. She had already told my parents we were working things out. Already updated her address at work. Already changed her mailing info. She moved in without an answer. It's not permanent, she said. Just a few weeks. She did the dishes. Cooked dinner. Made coffee. Washed my clothes. She smiled. She asked nothing of me. Just lived. Until one morning, I woke up to her crying on the balcony. I miss you, she said. Every day I wake up wishing I hadn't ruined everything. I didn't answer. I walked away. That night, she was in my bed. Just asleep, she whispered. I let her. That was mistake number 2. It started with little things. You were always like this. You just forgot. I never said that. You're remembering wrong. You're being too sensitive. Then came the money. She used my card for groceries. Then clothes. Then just a few bills. When I confronted her, she cried. Said she thought I meant we were back together. Said it was just like before. We're a team again. I told her to leave. She didn't. Said she had nowhere to go. Said she paid half the bills now. Said I couldn't just evict her. I called my lawyer. She intercepted the call. Changed my passcode while I was in the shower. That night, I found her going through my laptop. Just needed a recipe, she said. She had accessed my bank account, my email, my digital life. One morning, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. A woman. I don't know you, but I need to tell you something. Kaylee approached me online. She offered me money to say you had an affair with me. Said she needed to shift the narrative. Said you were emotionally unstable. I blocked her, but I thought you should know. I hung up and stared at the wall for what felt like an hour. She was building a case. Not to win me back. To destroy me. Just in case. It wasn't over. She wasn't broken. She was biding her time. And I had let the monster back in the house. That call from the stranger Kaylee tried to bribe stayed with me like a bad taste in my mouth. She had offered money to fabricate an affair. My affair. One that never happened. One she wanted to plant like poison in the middle of my life. It wasn't about truth. It was about balance. Control. If she couldn't own me with love, she'd bury me with lies. I started checking the locks twice a night after that. I stopped drinking anything I didn't open myself. I backed up my emails, bank logins, messages. I started saving everything to encrypted drives. I even installed a security camera in my office without telling her. And it didn't take long before it paid off. She forgot I worked from home some days. I was in the guest room, door closed, headset on, editing reports when I heard faint voices from the hallway. I muted my mic and leaned toward the door. Her voice. Another woman's. I clicked the security feed. 2 of her friends were in the living room. I recognized them. From her gym. I turned up the audio just enough to catch it. He's still being polite, Kaylee was saying. But he won't crack. Yet. Then laughter. You think you'll get him back in bed? No. Not the point, she replied. He's got some savings stashed away. I just need to get access. The therapist angle is working. I've been crying once a week to keep him open. The other woman asked, what if he finds out? Kaylee scoffed. I'll just say it's a phase. That I was scared. Throw in a panic attack or 2. He's got guilt. It'll buy time. I closed the feed. Sat there, staring at my screen. Little thought. Asterisk, she's not a woman trying to heal. She's a wolf waiting for the door to crack open. Asterisk. That night, I didn't say anything. I wanted to. Every time she spoke, it felt like acid on my skin. She brought wine. We sat. She asked questions about work. About my day. Said things like, you're so calm lately. You're different now. In a good way. I smiled. Nodded. All the while, her words from earlier echoed in my head. I just need to get access. I spoke to my lawyer again. Told him I needed her gone. This time, permanently. She's not on the lease, he said. It's technically your property. But we'll need to document her squatting and create a record of refusal to vacate. He told me what to do. Gather evidence. Log every instance. Record everything. And most importantly, do not retaliate. Do not provoke. Let her hang herself with her own rope. Kaylee had a pink leather-bound journal she left in the bathroom. She wrote in it after showers. Dumb, I thought. But it caught my eye one day while she was out. I opened it. The entries were dated, detailed. They weren't diaries. They were logs. Spoke to Eric's mom today. Told her I missed being part of their family. Started sleeping in his bed again. He didn't touch me, but I think he wanted to. He's getting weak. Therapist asked if I ever manipulated people. Said no. That seemed to work. Need to create doubt about Braden's involvement. Maybe say he pressured me. Or made threats. It was all there. Calculated. Cold. The mask had slipped. And the real Kaylee was underneath. She suggested inviting some friends over. Just a chill night. Drinks, some food. Show everyone we're civil. I agreed. But I planned something different. 3 guests came. Her old trainer friends. 1 new guy I didn't recognize. I excused myself early and went in my office. Pretended to work. Left my Bluetooth speaker wired into the living room camera feed. I sat back, hit record, and listened. More manipulation. They joked about the prenup. Laughed about how she almost got away with it. Said I was too boring to stay mad for long. The new guy? Turned out he was her next target. He's got a startup, Kaylee whispered. Lots of funding. I just need to wrap up this little chapter with Eric. Little chapter? The woman sitting across from me just referred to our marriage as a footnote. I forwarded the full audio to my attorney. Then I poured myself a glass of bourbon and toasted the beginning of her end. Manipulators can control people, but not algorithms. Instagram told me more than she ever would. She forgot her burner profile was linked to my laptop. I opened the browser and saw it. DMs to Braden. Recent. After the court date. Even after therapy. Miss you. Miss how it felt. He's starting to let his guard down. Give me 2 months. Then we can talk vacation. She wasn't trying to rebuild. She was planting seeds in 2 gardens. Seeing which one bloomed faster. March 12th. I came home from a late meeting. She was in the kitchen, music playing low. Wine glass half full. Her hair down. The perfume I hadn't smelled in months hung in the air. She approached me. Soft hands. Sad eyes. Can we just stop pretending? I stayed still. She placed her hand on my chest. I still love you. You still love me. Why are we torturing each other? I stepped back. Told her no. Her face cracked. You think you're so noble now, she hissed. Because you didn't cheat? You think that makes you better than me? You have no idea what I sacrificed for you. I asked her to leave the kitchen. She threw the wine glass at the wall. You don't get to throw me away. That was it. The mask shattered. I called my lawyer. Filed a no-contact motion. Called the building. Had security camera logs pulled. Called the police. Filed a formal report for domestic incident, without violence, but with intimidation. She was removed 2 days later. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. From her. Inside was a photo, a sonogram, and a note that said, if I go down, I'm not going alone. Asterisk. I stared at it for a long time. Then I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so perfectly her. When emotional manipulation failed, when cohabitation failed, when false apologies failed, she defaulted to the last weapon she had. Pregnancy. I didn't call her. I didn't respond. Instead, I sent a photo of the envelope and sonogram to my attorney. Asked him to verify if any legal action was possible. He called me 30 minutes later. She's smart, he said. The wording is vague. Not an admission, not a demand. But it's absolutely intimidation. Can she claim it's mine? I asked. If she tries, we'll demand DNA testing. And if she resists, we push for fraud. You're in the clear unless there's something I don't know. There wasn't. I'd been careful. Always. And that's what made her message even more desperate. 3 days later, the rumor dropped. A mutual friend texted, "Did you hear she's pregnant?" By the 5th message, I knew she'd done it. She was spreading it like wildfire. And with every whisper, the implication was clear. I was the father. She even changed her social bios to mom-to-be and posted a cryptic story. A baby onesie laid out on a bed with the caption, "Can't wait to meet you, #new beginnings." Little thought. Asterisk, this wasn't a pregnancy. This was blackmail with a heartbeat. Asterisk. I had one idea. I drove to her usual pharmacy. Spoke to the woman behind the counter. I lied. Said we were still together. That I lost a receipt and needed a reprint from last week. The clerk frowned, but when I showed a photo of Kaylee and me together, she softened. She was here last Tuesday. Picked up birth control and Plan B. Birth control. I repeated. Yep. And a refill on anti-anxiety meds. Bingo. She wasn't pregnant. She was terrified. Of losing. Of being irrelevant. Of becoming just another woman who cheated and got left behind. I drafted a message. Let's talk. Just us. She answered in 30 seconds. I knew you'd come around. I've missed you. So much. I told her to meet me at the trail behind Holloway Park. A quiet path, no cameras, no one else. She agreed. I already had a mic on. She wore a flowing dress. Her version of innocent. Her eyes sparkled with smug victory. You're glowing, I said. She smiled wide. That's the hormones. I nodded. Boy or girl? Too early to tell. I stepped in closer. I stopped by your pharmacy. Funny thing, they said you picked up Plan B. Her smile cracked. No, they're mistaken. That wasn't for me. I also have the receipt. She stepped back. You're violating my privacy. I leaned in. You're violating basic decency. That's when she lost it. In public, out in the open. You think you can just erase me? I gave you the best years of my life. I gave you everything. I didn't speak. She continued. If you walk away again, I swear, I'll say you hit me. I'll say you locked me out. I'll say you threatened me in court. You think anyone will believe you? You think I don't know how to cry on command? I smiled. I hope your performance is better when the police hear this recording. Her face drained. I held up my phone. Still recording. You know what's funny? I said. You're not even ashamed. You're just scared that your house of cards is starting to sway. I filed a restraining order that day. She tried to file a counterclaim. Said I harassed her. That I made threats. But she didn't know I'd already given the audio recording to the judge. She didn't know that her pharmacy visit was on surveillance. She didn't know that her own lies were collapsing like wet tissue. The order was granted. 100 feet minimum. No contact. Her fake pregnancy disappeared from social media the next day. She changed the story. Tragic miscarriage. Please respect my privacy. I thought it was over again. Then came the bank alert. A flagged transaction. $4,800 withdrawn from my old joint account. An account I hadn't touched in months. I stormed into the bank. Demanded a transaction history. And there it was, signed in her name. Forged with a nearly perfect replica of my old signature. The teller on duty? A mutual friend from high school. She thought nothing of it. It looked like your signature, she said. That account should have been frozen. She said you were back together. That you forgot to update the status. Manipulation. Again. Always just enough truth to open the door. She wasn't just playing dirty. She was playing smart. She found a way to look just innocent enough. Just close enough to my past life that people believed her story. People started whispering. She lost the baby. He's freezing her out. She's fragile. He should be more supportive. They didn't know, but I was done explaining. One night, I received a brown envelope at my door. No name. Just my address. Inside was a USB drive. No note. No label. I plugged it into my backup laptop, firewalled from everything else. Inside, 20 video files. Surveillance. Hidden cams. Bedroom. Bathroom. Office. All labeled. All from my house. She had bugged my home. And not just while she was there. She'd left things behind. Smoke detectors, clocks, picture frames. Turned them into her private spy network. That's when I realized. This was an obsession. This was a woman who had already crossed the line into criminal insanity. She wasn't there. I knew that. The restraining order was real. She couldn't legally come near me. But knowing what she left behind, hidden cameras, microphones, pieces of herself embedded in my walls, it made the air in my own home feel toxic. Contaminated. I called in a private tech specialist the next morning. Someone my lawyer recommended. No uniform. No van. Just a guy in jeans and a windbreaker who carried his gear in a duffel bag. 3 hours later, he pulled 7 bugs out of my apartment. A clock in the bedroom. A smoke detector in the living room. 2 USB chargers. A framed picture she'd forgotten on the nightstand. And the kicker, a lamp with a built-in mic I'd bought on clearance 6 months ago. She must have switched it. I stood there while he dropped the last bug into an evidence bag. You ever seen anything like this? I asked. He shook his head. Only in custody cases. And cartel surveillance. He handed me a second USB. This one's clean. Copies of everything. I didn't ask how he got it so fast. I just nodded. Little thought. Asterisk, she hadn't just violated trust. She'd turned my life into a crime scene. Asterisk. I sent the copy to my attorney. Within 24 hours, we had filed criminal charges for illegal surveillance, property tampering, and malicious harassment. I also filed to modify the restraining order to a no-contact criminal injunction. His advice was simple. Assume she'll escalate. Protect yourself now. Document everything. Do not respond. Do not meet. She's officially dangerous. Once the charges were filed, she flipped. My phone, silent for weeks, lit up with unknown numbers. Blocked calls. Messages from mutual friends. She says you're trying to ruin her life. She told people you were spying on her. Asterisk asterisk. She says she's going to the media. She even reached out to my boss. Claimed I was mentally unstable. That she was concerned for workplace safety. It didn't work. HR called me in. I showed them the evidence. The restraining order. The audio recordings. The fake pregnancy. The surveillance. Their expression shifted from concern to disbelief. We're on your side, they said. Let us know if she contacts you again. But it didn't end there. That weekend, I went to access my tax documents. My cloud drive was gone. Deleted. Everything: financial records, photos, backups. Erased. I checked the logs. Someone had logged in using a secondary account linked to my email. An old one I hadn't used in years. The recovery phone number ended in the last 4 digits of hers. She had wiped me out digitally. Or tried to. But I had backups. Offline. Redundant. Still, it shook me. She wasn't just lashing out anymore. She was trying to erase my entire existence. Braden. He showed up at my door. I opened it, stunned. He looked different. Beat down. Humbled. Bruised. I need 5 minutes, he said. I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. He didn't mince words. She's blackmailing me. What? She recorded us. Back then. Said if I didn't send her money, she'd tell my girlfriend. My boss. Said she'd make it public. I stared at him. You thought you were in control? He looked at the ground. I didn't know what she was until too late. I didn't pity him. Not even a little. But I listened. She's building something. I don't know what. But it's big. He handed me a burner phone. She called me on this. There's more. On the burner was a file. A clip from 3 months ago. My bedroom. Her and Braden. Post-gym. Laughing. Talking. Then planning. He'll never see it coming. You'll play the guilt card. I'll act like it was all a mistake. It wasn't just cheating. It was premeditated financial and emotional sabotage. This wasn't a breakup. This was psychological warfare. I stopped playing defense. I hired a private investigator. Full-time. I submitted everything to law enforcement. The USB. The burner. The pharmacy slip. The recordings. The fake pregnancy. The social media blitz. And I went public. One post. Just one. On my private social media. Not dramatic. Not revenge porn. Just facts. To friends who've asked, no, I am not a father. No, I did not cheat. Yes, I was stalked, recorded, and harassed. I'm okay now. Thank you for understanding. Support poured in. 3 days later, she was arrested. Not for stalking. Not for surveillance. For identity theft and wire fraud. She'd opened a credit card in my name. Months ago. Used it to buy spa packages, travel tickets, and, ironically, a surveillance camera kit. She was out on bail within hours. But the message was clear. She wasn't untouchable anymore. I hired a digital team. Small, discreet, and fast. We built a private web page, clean layout, password protected, and filled it with everything. The surveillance footage. The pharmacy receipts. The audio of her threats. The emails from burner accounts. The court documents. Even the police report Braden had finally filed after she tried to extort him again. Then I sent the link to her family. Her coworkers. Her gym management. Everyone she'd ever leaned on for sympathy. Subject line, for your protection. It took less than a day for the calls to start. My phone buzzed nonstop. Messages from people I barely knew. I'm so sorry, man. We had no idea. She told us you were the one stalking her. Thank you for the truth. I won't speak to her again. I didn't feel victorious. I felt clean. For the first time in months, I wasn't hiding in the shadows of her lies. Kaylee went live on Instagram the next night. Teary-eyed. No makeup. Dim lighting for maximum drama. I was manipulated. I made mistakes. But I'm not a monster. I just wanted love. And now he's turning everyone against me. The comments poured in. At first, sympathy. Then, people started dropping the link. She panicked. Cut the video. Deleted it. Then deleted her account. Too late. Screenshots. Downloads. Mirrors. Instead, she showed up at my workplace. Hair disheveled. Makeup smeared. Security stopped her in the lobby. She screamed. Said I had ruined her life. Said I made her look crazy. Then she said it. I'll ruin you. You think this is over? I know things. You want your past dragged out next. Security escorted her out. But her words stuck. You want your past dragged out next? What did she mean? 2 days later, a letter arrived. No return address. Just a flash drive and a note. You lied once too. Let's not pretend you're innocent. I hesitated before opening it. But curiosity is a vicious thing. Inside were screenshots, emails I sent years ago, messages with an ex, conversations I barely remembered. Flirty, not physical, but enough for Kaylee to spin a narrative. She'd archived everything, even back then, before the marriage. I laughed, because that was her final bullet. I forwarded it all to my lawyer. He replied, "Weak. We'll bury it." She's grasping now. Braden's girlfriend? She posted a video, 10 minutes long. Calm, composed. She came after me, lied to me, used me, blackmailed Braden, then told people I was violent when I dumped her. The video went viral in the local fitness community. Comments turned brutal. She got trainers fired. She pretended she was pregnant for clout. She stalked her ex and blamed him. Her face became a warning. Don't trust people like this. She emailed me. Subject, one last time. Body, let me speak. Just once. One call. If you still hate me after that, I'll leave forever. But I deserve to explain myself. I didn't reply.